Yo, what is up guys? This is Pedro here, and in today's video I will be talking about the report from Ben Stanek that said if Alijah Vera-Tucker is there at 19, the Washington football team will likely take him, and I'll also talk about the Washington football team being pretty interested in Virginia Tech cornerback Caleb Farley, and I'll go over some mid-round, day 2 and day 3 prospects that the Washington football team is interested in. So if you guys are new, make sure to subscribe for Washington and NFL content. So let's get right into the video. Okay, so first let's start off with the Alijah Vera-Tucker news that a lot of people have been talking about, and then we'll talk about the Caleb Farley news and some other, day 2 and day 3 prospects, second, third, and beyond round picks that the Washington football team are interested in. So Ben Stanek, in one of his articles on The Athletic, said the Washington football team is interested in Alijah Vera-Tucker, and he said Washington likely gobbles up Vera-Tucker if he's available. That's the key word though, if he's available. A lot of people have been putting him in that 13 to 19 range. He's probably not going to get past Washington, but the Chargers definitely could use Alijah Vera-Tucker. Same thing with the Vikings, and there's other teams, maybe even the Raiders could use him, maybe the Dolphins as well. So if he's there at 19, it would be a very good pick. He's very versatile. If you look, Daniel Jeremiah, here's his, write-up on Alijah Vera-Tucker. He has him as the 13th best player in this class. He said Vera-Tucker is one of the safest players in this class. He played guard at a very high level in 2019 and produced an outstanding campaign at left tackle in 2020. You guys can see some of the other stuff. Plays with great strength, balance, awareness in pass protection. And he kind of said that I think he has a chance to stick at tackle, but he's ideally suited to play guard. He's ready to start on day one. So I think it would kind of be a Brandon Sheriff situation. Start him out at tackle, see how that works out, because obviously you would prefer him to play tackle because it's a much more important position. And if he can't play tackle, he'll be that Brandon Sheriff replacement once Brandon Sheriff is gone, or if he gets hurt. I like Alijah Vera-Tucker. I think he's a great player. I'm not sure if he's going to be there at 19. He's probably a better overall prospect than Christian Darrisaw. The only reason I kind of like Christian Darrisaw maybe a little bit more as a fit for Washington is that he's more of a true tackle, which I think we need more than guard, at least for this year. We'll see moving forward with Brandon Sheriff if he stays. And also, if they view Sadiq Charles as a guard, then that could be Brandon Sheriff's replacement. We'll see though. I really like Alijah Vera-Tucker just because of his positional versatility, which Washington loves. He's a great, good pass protector, good in the run block, good run blocking as well, has good experience, still young, and played a bunch of different positions. So if he falls to us at 19 and there isn't, another elite prospect at linebacker, Micah Parsons, or another position, I would definitely be happy if we got Alijah Vera-Tucker. It wouldn't be a flashy move or anything, but I do think it would be, a good move to make. And one quick thing I should have said before this, like I said, from Ben Stanek, this is what he said, and Ben Stanek is, one of the best mock drafters in the country, so he's a very reliable source when it comes to this. So just keep that in mind when we go through the video and talk about some of the later round guys that the Washington football team could target, because last year he also thought, mocked Antonio Gibson to the Washington football team, and no one else did that at all. So let's go ahead and talk about Caleb Farley. So another, reliable source, Peter King, said that, Arizona, Washington, Chicago, and Pittsburgh has spent lots of Zoom time. They've been interviewing Caleb Farley a lot this spring. So, the Washington football team, cornerback isn't a huge need, but Caleb Farley is probably the best. He's probably the best or second best cornerback prospect in this draft, but he could be the third or maybe even fourth cornerback taken this year in the draft due to injuries. He's had like 2 back surgeries. Also, I do think he had an ACL injury in high school or college, so he might fall a little bit. So I would be okay with Washington taking him at 19. The only problem is we don't know his medicals. So, Ben Stanek also mentioned in his article or in his podcast the other day that he does think, Caleb Farley is going to fall, somewhere in the 20s. So maybe if the Washington football team trades out of 19 and is able to get Caleb Farley plus assets in, the mid 20s, late 20s, that would be a really, really good deal. Got to make sure, though, that his medicals check out. And, they haven't been able to, have a lot of their doctors come in. They only had that one checkup in Indianapolis, and only 2 representatives from each team could go. So that might, have some teams worried and not pick him until later. I still think he's going to be a first-round pick, but he's definitely starting to fall. So maybe Washington could trade back, and that would be, an elite cornerback, trio with Kendall Fuller, William Jackson, and Caleb Farley. You look at Caleb Farley, former wide receiver at VTech, transitioned to corner, and I do think he was a quarterback in high school. He's about 6'2", 207 pounds, and 6 interceptions in his collegiate career. 1 touchdown, and he did opt out this past season. 12 passes defended. He's super, super gifted. I mean, to do this after, playing receiver and coming into college, like, that's really, really impressive to transition and still, great press man corner. He's still raw, but I think he's going to, if he stays healthy, I think he will end up being the second best or even best cornerback in this class. But the safer pick would obviously be, the safer cornerbacks would be Patrick Surtain and J.C. Horn. But obviously, the Washington football team isn't necessarily going to be in position to get those guys. So now on to kind of day 2, guys. John Keim and Ben Stanek both have said that the Washington football team is interested in Pete Werner, the Ohio State linebacker. And, he's been getting some buzz. And Jim Nagy, a former NFL scout, and he kind of runs the Senior Bowl now, he said that a lot of teams have first-round grades on Pete Werner. Obviously, we're not going to be drafting him in the first round, or at least I hope not. But maybe if we trade back in the second or early on in the third, if he's somehow still there, I would like him. I'm not sure if I like him in the second. But Pete Werner is someone to keep your eye out on. Can play that Sam linebacker, inside linebacker as well. Pretty athletic. I like him. I'm not sure if I like him in the second, but maybe late second would be okay. Definitely third would be great for me. I think he's definitely a realistic possibility for them. Another another defensive player that they are interested in is Javon Holland. They've met with him a couple different times, and one was with Nate Katzer, our special teams coordinator, because Javon Holland does have some punt returning experience. He's an electric punt returner. And I like Javon Holland, very versatile, can play. He's mostly safety, obviously, but he has some versatility, can line up in the slot as well. So I like him, and maybe you end up drafting him in the second, because some teams have first-round grades on him as well. Maybe you draft him in the second and Pete Werner in the third. I would like that duo as well. Javon Holland would be a great pick, in my opinion, out of Oregon. I'm not sure where he's going to end up, but if you could get him in the second or third, that would be an ideal situation for the Washington football team. And 2 tight ends that the Washington football team is interested in, according to Ben Stanek: Tommy Tremble out of Notre Dame and Brevin Jordan out of Miami. Tommy Tremble, the best blocking tight end in this class, in my opinion, an elite blocker. Not great in the pass catching game yet, but that's because they didn't ask him to do much there, because they had other great pass catches with Cole Kmet, a first rounder last year, a second rounder. And they have a guy who's probably going to be a first-rounder next year or the year after. So I like Tommy Tremble maybe in that third-round range, because he's a good blocker, can help you right away, and I think he has the traits to develop into a solid pass catcher. Another guy they said was Brevin Jordan, tight end out of Miami. I think he would be another solid option. He said Brevin Jordan's probably going to go late day 2, so maybe they can get him with our second third round pick. I like him as well. He's more of a pass catching tight end, pretty athletic, good route runner, about 6'3", so I like him as well. And the last one is Jermar Jefferson, the running back out of Oregon State. They are somewhat interested in getting a running back. Not sure where they want one. Maybe it's earlier, but I think it's probably going to be, a fifth round guy. Jermar Jefferson's 5'10", 217 pounds this past season, had 858 yards rushing, 6.5 yards per carry, 7 touchdowns. Also, had some receiving yards as well. The Pac-12 didn't play many games, so that's why his stats are down, but he, increased his yards per carry. So, him in that, fifth round range, maybe a little bit later, I would like him as well, provide some good running back depth. And, Ben Stanek also mentioned a couple other names, so make sure you guys check out his latest podcast to get all that information. So I appreciate you guys, watching the video. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about Alijah Vera-Tucker, Caleb Farley, and the day 2 and day 3 prospects that I talked about. Thanks for watching, and peace.